Hey guys, in this video I am going to teach you how to create CRUD application using SQflite with MVVM architecture, and I will use GetX for state management. Okay, so let's start. This is the empty project. Firstly, I am going to add some dependencies. Go to pub.dev website and write SQflite and search here. Go to SQflite section and then go to installing section. Just copy this SQflite, paste here. One more dependency is there, that is path provider. I am also going to add this dependency into our project, so copy this path provider and paste here. And one more is for GetX state management. Okay, and just hit on pub get. Yes, we can see the all dependencies imported successfully. I am going to remove this test folder, remove this comment in main.dart, and just now I am going to create the structure of MVVM. So I have created many folders. One for the database, where we initialize the database of SQflite, and inside the model folder we will create the model of student, where we will declare all the variables. Okay, and in the repository folder we will execute all the operations like insert, delete, update, and inside the view folder we will fetch all the students and will show inside the view, and the view model will interact with the view directly. Okay, so now I'm going to create one more view. Here import material.dart, and we will take stateful widget. And wrap with sec area, and in scaffold we will declare body, and I have added one demo text here. Okay, and now just copy this student page, go to main.dart and paste here, and just import this. Okay, now the error has gone. So firstly I am going to create model. The name will be student model. So I'll take two variable, one is the ID and second one is the name. Okay, of student. Now I'm going to create the constructor of this student model class. Now I'm going to create factory. So we can map the student. Here we need to pass the type. And now I'm going to return this student model. And here I'll pass all the parameters like ID, now I'm going to create one more map. By this we will add the data or update the data into the SQflite database. So here pass all the parameters, and now you can see our model class is ready. Now our second step is to create the instance of the database. So I am going to create one DB helper class. Before this I am going to import some dependencies. So we will have to import this all. Okay, now I'm going to create a static database. We will take feature of database, and then here now here we will check if the DB is not equal to null, then we will return this database. And if it is null, then we will create the init database class, okay, where we will declare all the paths versions of the database. Just copy this and paste here, and this will be the type of async. Here I am going to get the document directory path. So and here we will get the path by join, and inside join we will pass our document directory dot path, and the second parameter will be the database name. Here we will take one more variable for db, and then here inside the open database I am going to pass path first variable, and in second variable I am going to pass the version. Second parameter I am going to pass the version, and the third parameter will be the database function. So the path will be this path, and the version I am going to mention 1, and on create function is there. Here we will create one method. Just copy this and here we will pass database db and 1 is version. Here we will execute our query to create the table. And the table name will be student, and the parameter will be id and name. So id will be the integer and primary key, and name I am taking as text. Okay, and we'll have to return this db here. I think our database helper class is completed. Now I'm going to create repository class. Here I am going to call this db helper class, and now I am going to create the function to add the database, add student, update student, and delete student, and fetch student. So firstly I am going to add the student. I am going to create the method by which we can add student. So this will be the type of integer, and here add, and here we will take db client variable inside db client variable we will pass our db which is coming from db helper class. So here db helper.db, okay, and just return db client, and here we will pass student model, okay. db client dot insert, and the first parameter will be the table name, so I am going to add one more class here. So the table name I am going to use student. Just copy this and paste here, and just import this table name. Okay, so I am using this table name, and the values will be student model dot to map. So the map is this map, okay. id and name we are inserting. When we will hit this method, then we can insert this data which is coming from UI or view model, okay. Similarly we will add method for update and delete. So copy and paste this, and then here I am going to change the name, and for the update we need to change this update, and here I am going to set some condition. So inside here id equals to and where okay, by id we will update this data, okay. Now for delete, I don't want to use this student model. Here we will pass integer id as integer, okay. So just copy this, and here we will set just remove this student model dot to map, and here simply pass id. By the help of id we will delete the student. Now one more method will be there for fetch all the students. So and this will be the type of list. Here we will pass our model class, just copy this and paste here. Here we will take list of map type, and then the maps equals to, now we will write the query. So db client dot query, first will be the table name and second will be the columns which we want to fetch. So I am going to fetch id and name, and now I am going to take blank list. Now just add all the maps into this student. So I am going to take one for loop here. So inside this student we will add all these maps. Okay, now I'm going to return this student. So we will get the list of all students. So here, now you can see our student repository class is also completed. Now I'm going to create view model class. So and now I'm going to extend with GetX controller. Okay, so this on init method will call when this student view model will initialize and declare into our view. Okay, so now I'll take one list here, and this will be the type of observable. So we will get all the updated data here. And now I am going to call this class here. Okay, just copy this and paste this and add. Actually our view will directly interact with this view model, not with the student repository. Okay, view model will interact with our uh, UI, and the student repository will interact with this view model. Okay, so just copy this, and this will be for update student and one more for delete student. So, and here integer of id. Okay, just copy this, paste here, and change with delete. One more method will be there for fetch all the students. So and we will fetch all the students when it will load at the first time. So here we will take one variable, and this will be the type of async, and here student repository dot get all students. So we will get all the student list here. Now I'm going to add this all student inside our all student dot value equals to student. So we will get all the student inside this all student. Okay, and just copy this, paste this here also. Actually I have added this all, I have added this function in all the operations to get the updated data. Suppose we hit add button, then we want to get the updated data, so I have added this method similarly for update and similarly for student. I think I have completed our student view model class. Now I am going to create our view class. For this I am going to run this application in Visor. So now you can see I have connected my device and I am running my application into the device. I have disabled this banner, debug banner, okay, in main.dart, and now I am going to create the design. So I have added one text field for student name, okay. Now here I will take two buttons, one for add and one for update. So So I am taking elevated button. Okay, and now below these buttons I will take one list view builder. Okay, so list view builder, and here I will pass context. So you can see the list is appearing here. Now I'll set item count. Now just call our view model here, and our view model class name is student view model. Okay, just collapse this container, copy this, cut this, and I am going to add inside observable so that we will get the updated student list. Now I am going to save this, and we can see the error is appearing here. So just copy this view model and paste here, and I am going to call this all student list. Okay, and here I'll pass the length of this all student list. Okay, and just save this, and then you can see the error has gone. And now I'm going to add controller here. Just copy this, and here we will take text editing controller. Inside add button, when we'll hit add button, then I'm going to call add student method, which is available inside student view model. Okay, but before this I am going to set some condition here. If name controller dot text is not equal to null, not equal to blank, then only we will hit this method. And here we will pass the parameters. So student model Inside id we will pass null value, and inside name we will pass name controller dot text, which is coming from this text field. Okay, let's control save this and type some name here and just press add button. So you can see one card available in list because I have added one data here. One more thing I have forgotten, that to blank this controller after added student. Okay, now I'm going to add one more name here. Then you can see one more card is added into the list. So now I'm going to show the dynamic data which is coming from the student list. So here we will pass name and just control save, control s. Then we can see the data we have added is showing here. Okay, now it's working fine. Now I'm going to add one delete button here. So I'll take one icon here. Now I want to delete this record when we'll hit this delete icon. So I'm going to set the operation here. Wrap inside inkwell. When we will hit this icon, then I want to hit this method delete student. Okay, and we will pass the id of the student to delete the specific record, and just copy this and paste here and change with id instead of name. Okay, now just save our code, and when I'm going to hit any icon, then you can see the record is deleted. Okay, and now I'm going to set the operation of update student. Okay, so for this I'll not create new page. Actually, when we will press this card, then the name will appear here, and we can change this with the ID. So I'm going to take one integer variable here to store the ID of the student, and in card wrap with ink value, and here we will save the ID of the student. Inside student ID, change with ID here. Okay, so when we will press this card, then we will get the specific student ID, so that we can update that student. And we will fill the name controller by this name. Okay, so let's check. Just press this Mohan, then you can see the name controller is filled with Mohan. And now I'm going to press on Rahul, so that you can see here Rahul is appearing. If you want to update Rahul, then we can update Rahul by this ID. Okay, just copy this function which is written inside add on press section and paste here inside update. Just change with update student, and instead of null we will pass student ID, which we have added here, student ID. And then okay, and then control S, and now we can check here. Now I'm going to press on Mohan and just change the name like Rahi. And when I'm going to press this update button, then we can see I think I have done some mistakes. So you can see we didn't change this method, so it's not working. Now I'm going to I have changed this with update. Now it will perfectly work, so I'm going to check this. Now I want to update Mohan, so again it's not working, I think. Restart your application, okay, and just restart your application, then it will perfectly work. So you can see here. Okay, if I want to update this, then you can see it is updating. Now if you want to delete, then you can see we can delete. It's working fine. If you like the video, then like, share and subscribe.